Hi, I'm Joey Garcia. For 15 years, you've read my relationship advice column in the Sacramento News and Review newspaper. Now I'm online and ready to answer your questions. So if you've got questions, I've got insights. Let's get started.
Are men able to commit for more than 2 years?
Well, 2 years is kind of a magic number because after 6 months, you get to see who that person really is and whether they are right for you. You get a chance to see them at their best and at their worst, and that's important if you're going to make a lifetime commitment together. So 24 months teaches you a lot about that other person and about yourself. So here's what I'm going to invite you to do. When a relationship ends, spend a little time in self-exploration. Decide whether during the relationship maybe you were too clingy. If that's the case, spend a little time alone and get comfortable with being with yourself. Or if you were too critical, then allow yourself to just get really comfortable accepting other people's quirks. If you do that when a relationship ends, you're going to be grateful for the time spent with that person, for what you learned about yourself, and you'll be grateful that a relationship ended with someone with whom you're not compatible. You'll be ready to find someone with whom you are compatible, and that's the good news.
Even at the high school level, relationships get really, really expensive. And a lot of the money actually doesn't get spent on just dates alone. A lot of it gets spent on clothes and cologne and trying to make yourself look better and good. I find that a lot of my birthday money and Christmas money and such like that ends up getting spent on girls.
We live in a status-obsessed culture, and that means that teenagers are focused on wealth, money, and material possessions. If we want to get out of that cycle, which can be so detrimental not only to us as individuals but to the community, the best way to get out of it is by showing people other concepts of wealth. For example, social wealth. If you're someone who has a lot of friends or makes friends easily, then you have social wealth. Introduce your girlfriends or your potential dates to all of your friends and your social networks. Show them how well connected you are so that they can begin to see that, although money might make life easier, friends are what life is all about.
With all the research that shows how different men and women's brains are, how can they coexist and get along well together?
Men and women can definitely coexist. And the idea that we don't because our brains are different is kind of problematic. Here's why. Science is so important, but scientific theories evolve all the time. They're going to be changing many times in our lifetime. So let's not get too attached to any of that, and let's look at why as a society we socialize boys and girls differently. Here's an example. In preschool, a little girl and a little boy are playing together, having a great time. Parents come into the room, or maybe even preschool teachers, and they say, "Oh, is that your little girlfriend? Is that your little boyfriend?" Immediately sexualizing a very innocent relationship. So children grow up believing that they can't just be friends. In fact, they have to always have a romantic layer to that relationship. That's part of what creates a problem. We wire children and wire their brains to believe that men and women are different. Now, how do we get past that? We begin to look for what's similar, and we build bridges of similarity around our integrity, around our values, around our beliefs, and that way we focus on what is working in our relationships instead of what we want to manufacture as problems.